Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to reading for the week of April 10th. We're just going to jump right in here, Virgo, and we're going to see what is going on for you. You have this divine timing card. It says your angels are working behind the scenes. I think I just think that a lot is going on behind the scenes for you just in general. I don't even necessarily think that it is just your angels. And here you go. Temperance would be the card of your angels working behind the scenes. Even the Chariot represents behind the scenes. He has this city behind him, and that city is something that he is leaving behind, as I always say, but it can also represent where you come from. The whole point of this castle on the Chariot is that it's kind of almost giving the chariot rider energy. That castle, it kind of represents establishment, something that's been established for a long time in his life, that gives him power, that gives him strength. So for a lot of you, it's like there's a lot of behind the scenes work going on in this reading. But you have the Chariot, the Temperance card, and the Hangman in this first row. I feel like you've been patient. I feel like you've been way too patient, actually, or you've been waiting to do something, or to kind of move in a new direction. And I feel like there's a big change coming in for you here, Virgo. Like once you pick this new direction. It's funny, you have this day and night card. This is the good stuff right here, this last row. So it doesn't matter what shows up here. You have the Nine of Swords. It's going to be good no matter what. And I kind of feel like there's a day and night change coming in for you, where it's like you notice like things are day and night, as people say. I definitely feel there's like a victory coming in for you as well. A lot of these victories are coming from your past is kind of like what I'm getting. And I'm not talking about revisiting the past here. I'm talking about it's like you could be seeing the lessons that you had to learn, and that could actually be a victory. It looks like you are kind of gaining your power with the Empress here. You have the Empress and the Star, which would definitely be like some sort of glow up in your life. You do have the Five of Swords here, and there's one thing that I will say to you, and that is that we have Mars in Cancer. And for Pisces, Mars in Cancer is kind of about taking a risk, but you are the opposite of Pisces, obviously, Virgo. But I always say that you two are very similar. So if there's like a risk that you want to take that has to do with exposing yourself, we're not talking about literally exposing yourself. Obviously, don't get arrested. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this, but apparently I do. And what I would say here with the Star card is that this could be like the fear of being wrong, the fear of people criticizing you for your ideas, the fear of becoming successful. You literally have this fear of success card here. In the next row, we're going to talk about that. And so like the cards are matching up very nicely here. You have the Hangman. You've been waiting for this for a long time. And the Hangman also is kind of like what I would call a milestone card. He is hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom here, Virgo, and he has gained some knowledge. He has gained some enlightenment, and you have like two cards of enlightenment right here. The Empress and the Star. The Empress isn't necessarily a card of enlightenment, but it kind of is. She is, an enlightened individual. And so I feel for a lot of you, it's like you've been waiting. You've been waiting for this transformation with the Temperance card. I feel like everything is like starting to add up. Everything's starting to work together in your life. I'm using this Lenormand deck and to clarify, because why not? But you have the Tower. The Tower is different in the Lenormand than it is in Tarot, of course. It can represent like the ego, or kind of standing up for yourself as well. And I kind of feel that energy here with this card. It's kind of like more about standing up for yourself, or even the Empress and the Star could be like a card, could represent like standing out, making yourself unique. I talk about this all the time. The chariot rider, he is leaving the city behind so that he can be unique, so that he can stand out, so that people so that he stands out amongst the crowd, And I feel like doing that is going to be very important for you, not just like right now, but, over the next several years. A lot of you could be doing things that maybe go against the grain, or again, make you unique. But again, when you make yourself unique, you live a unique life instead of like everybody else. You have the Temperance card, and with the Temperance card, you have the Rider. The Rider is like a message coming in. Could also be a Knight in Shining Armor. I do feel like a little bit of love here. It doesn't seem to be necessarily a major focus right now. Obviously, you're very attractive at this time with the Empress and the Star. That could say that you're very attractive. Doesn't matter what gender you are. So I feel like people maybe want your attention. Is it a major focus though? Like I said, probably not. There is a little bit of love, but just, like I said, I don't think it's like your first thought. Let's put it that way. But I do feel like there is like quick news or some sort of news coming in. This is also a card of taking action. And like I said, it seems to me like the wait is over, or you've done enough thinking about something, that could make you unique, that could make you stand out. With the Hangman, you have the woman, obviously could represent a woman in your life. This is a general reading, so, it could represent any energy. I also feel like this could be a man. I do get like a little bit of love here. Could be an earth sign, by the way. This card represents Taurus, and, in the Lenormand, and I feel for a lot of you that this could be love that is coming in for you. It's interesting as well because what's popping into my head, which is strange, is that everybody says that Pluto, Scorpio rules Pluto, but there are some astrologers who actually say that Pluto should be ruled by Taurus because Pluto spends the most amount of time in Taurus, and we have a Pluto transit right now. This is where I'm going with this. So Pluto spends about 30 years in Taurus. It's like the longest that it spends in a sign. And, what I would say is it's popping into my head that this transit, for whatever reason, it's like connected. So there could be a Taurus coming in for you if you are looking for love. Could be any sign, right? But it is definitely popping into my head. I also feel that this could be talking about kind of, I get something about like manifesting here, but it's like, maybe you have some sort of creative idea that needs to be birthed into the world right here. You have the woman, you have the Empress. The Empress is all about birth, but I kind of feel like some of you, it's more talking about like birthing a new idea. And maybe you need to, there is a way to read the tarot where the Emperor and the Empress, it just represents masculine, feminine, and the Empress is about balancing out. Like sometimes I think when the Empress comes up, it's like, oh, whoever I'm reading for needs to balance out their feminine energy, but it could just say that you need to be more creative or that you need to add some creativity to something you're working on. It's definitely popping into my head. Here in the unexpected, you have this, or what you don't see coming, you have this card that says fear of success. It says, be patient with yourself. There is a little bit of patience here. I don't like patience. I don't like that word either. So I get it. And it says, be patient with yourself as you unravel the fear and work through the uncomfortable phase of pushing yourself towards your goals and reconstruct it with more positivity and expectations. So, I feel for a lot of you, there is success, or there could be a little bit of a fear of success. But again, I don't know if it's a fear of success or more, like I was saying, the fear of exposure, the fear that you could be wrong or something like that. You have the Page of Cups, the Empress, and the Seven of Pentacles. The Empress is a card of abundance, of course. It is a card of a glow up as well. So, some of you could be getting a lot of attention right now. I keep telling people, again, if there was ever a time to try to get as much attention as you possibly could, it would be right now. Pluto in Aquarius. It's like you're going to have another chance. Pluto will be in Aquarius for 20 years. So you have a good amount of time to take advantage of this energy. But the thing that I would say is, like, I would take advantage of it right now. It's like a planet is always most powerful at the beginning of its transit. So it's like at the beginning right now. It's going to retrograde this year back into Capricorn. Next year it officially moves into Aquarius. But, I would start like doing this now. So anything you want to get attention on, I feel like you're going to see very rapid growth, a lot of growth, a lot of abundance. I feel like maybe some of you going this way here, going up to the Nine of Swords, it's like there's a little bit of, I would say there's a little bit of a fear of wasting your time. It's kind of like what I'm getting here. You even have this card here that says in your own time. You have this hourglass right here. So it's kind of standing out to me that some of you, it's like the fear could be like, oh, am I wasting my time on, this project, this business, this new direction in my life? But no, I think the evidence will be very clear. You have the Page of Cups. I do feel like there could be love coming in for you. Like I said, it seems like a background energy. So this could be an admirer or secret admirer. And, maybe you are fearing that you would waste your time with this person. I kind of feel like, I'm not calling you out here, Virgo, but I feel like some of you could be putting someone on a pedestal. Here, it's like you could have your eye on a person. This is only going to be for some of you. And they could have that star factor with the star showing up here. I'm not suggesting they're famous. I'm just saying, I feel like they could get a lot of attention, or they could have that kind of, they could be attention grabbing just in general. But, again, I feel like they're just a normal person. It could just be like a normal dude or a normal dudette, right? Whatever you're into, I don't care, right? You could date an alien for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. And what I would say is I feel like they're very normal. It's like maybe they don't seem normal, but I feel like as in maybe you kind of have them on a pedestal here. Again, that's only going to be for some of you. For some of you, it's this person that has you on a pedestal, Virgo, going this way. But I feel like someone needs to make a move here. I feel like I've said this to you before. I also feel like I've said to you that it could be a Scorpio, because Scorpio kind of gets the same message, and it kind of gets this right here, holding on to the past, but also kind of like worried with the Nine of Swords. Scorpio gets something very similar. So take it how it resonates. Could be a water sign. Also Earth really stands out to me. So it could be another Virgo, could be a Taurus or a Capricorn as well. With the Page of Cups, you have the Crossroads. Crossroads, like you have to make a decision, plain and simple. And, the interesting thing about the Crossroads is I always say there's another Lenormand deck called the Enchanted Lenormand. And in the Enchanted Lenormand, they actually call this card the Crossing. And it's kind of like there's a piece of, gross land, basically, and a crossing to like a more beautiful future in the front of the card, if that makes sense. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. But, to me, that kind of better describes the energy of the Crossroads, this card in the Lenormand. It's kind of about like needing to go through some uncertainty to get to the other side, but there's actually like a reward on the other side. And, but again, this can be a card of like over-evaluation, which we actually see right here with the Seven of Pentacles. I don't want to call you out, Virgo, but, like analysis paralysis, that is your middle name, Virgo, is, analyzing something to death. So I feel like for some of you, it's like, especially if you have your eye on a person, it's like, okay, you've like thought about this enough. I feel like it's time to make a move. For others, if this is a business idea, decision, or some sort of decision, it's like, this is something that will set you free, but I feel like you have to make the decision to do it. With the Empress, you have the Star. So again, this card is very similar to the Star in the Tarot. In the Lenormand, it kind of represents hope, faith, renewal. It can represent attention for sure, and it can represent kind of like positive experiences. I think that sometimes with this card, it's a little bit more kind of about experiences in the Lenormand. Like you could have some sort of positive experience in love or in, creating success. So I kind of feel like there's almost an experience, and it is popping into my head that it's an experience that's coming in for you. So you could be like traveling, moving, which we saw with the Chariot. And even that Tower card, it's not like the Tower in the Tarot. It's different, of course, but, it can kind of represent a move. I'm noticing here as well, you have a lot of Aquarius cards showing up here. So you could be dealing with an Aquarius or a person who has Aquarius in their chart. Or, again, like I said, this Pluto in Aquarius time, I think it's important for everyone, but I think it's super important for you. You have this Snowflake card. This is not a traditional Lenormand card. This deck has some extra cards in it. On the card, it says different, unique, fragile, and it's not, like it kind of is another Aquarius card, by the way. So very interesting. And so I feel like there could be a very different, unique. Didn't I say that at the beginning of this reading? I almost just said at the beginning of the situation. But again, I feel like there could be something that sets you apart, and especially going this way. I also feel like you could be attracting like a person who is much more different than your usual type. So, that makes sense to me based off the astrology. You could just be attracting someone who's like a snowflake, very, like a special, like an actual special snowflake, someone very unique, very different. Next, in the area of what you need to hear right now, you have this in your own time card. It says, take control of time. You decide. You're in control. It's up to you what you decide. There's clearly a choice to be made. And especially with that Crossroads card, there's like some sort of decision to make. I'm a little bit of a cheater, because to me, whenever I'm reading with Lenormand, I always say that the Crossroads to me just says pick the new path. It's like cheating, because you have a decision to make where you have to think about something, but usually that card says like the new path is just easier. So there's like really nothing to think about. And so I feel like there's a new opportunity that's going to take your life in a new direction. The problem is this right here. Four of Pentacles, also the Five of Swords, and also the Star, actually. I kind of feel it's like not bad. I just think it's a little bit of an obstacle, because the Four of Pentacles can be a comfort zone, holding on too tightly to the past. The Star is a very good card, don't get me wrong, but she's stepping into this pool of water. It's like she's entering into comfort, and she's only seeing something as possible. She's pouring this water onto the land, and that water comes from the pool of universal consciousness, and it basically says what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. But again, she's just pouring that water onto the land. That's what it says, but she needs to maybe kind of like take some action. I feel like for some of you, you just need to see the big picture. It's like I do feel some of you like are coming up with a plan on something that you want to do in like work or business. It's like you have the idea, but I think shuffling things around in your life and, maybe if you want to start a business or if you want to take your career or business in a new direction, it's like the shuffling is what's popping into my head. That could be a little bit of an obstacle for you right now, or maybe just a little bit of overthinking. Again, there really is no good answer other than taking the risk. So if you're thinking about doing something new or taking something in a new direction, I would just do it. With the Five of Swords, for some of you, it's like I feel like some of you could be worried about breakups in relationships. It's kind of funny that this is popping into my head as a fear. Again, I think it's like the fear of like wasting your time, or you don't want to waste your time in a relationship or something like that. Or, you could be fearing rejection as well for some of you if you have someone on a pedestal. So I would say stop putting people on a pedestal, right? With the Four of Pentacles, you have this photograph card. Again, this is not a Lenormand card. This is just an extra one. It says the past memories, the past returning, past influences. Again, Mercury retrograde this month. I would be very careful of holding on too tightly to the past, like literally. Four of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. That would be repeating a nightmare. So don't repeat a nightmare. Your past person's a nightmare. With the Star card, here you go. You have this Lilith card. Again, another extra card in this deck. It says sensual, wild, untamed, passion, independence, and mystery. Again, I would be careful of a past person, especially if you feel someone has like a hold over you, or whatever. And I feel like this person is just kind of controlling, so I'd be careful of that. I'm also getting with this Lilith card something about like expression or how you express yourself. Again, Lilith is, Black Moon Lilith can sometimes represent like, needing to learn how to present yourself to other people. Even, normally she's considered like a sex symbol or, kind of like the sexual energy basically. But, in a lot of ways it can represent how other people see you kind of. But, sometimes she can, I think, represent, I don't know what I'm trying to say, right? What I've noticed, I'll just tell you this, right? And what I'm getting is that like a lot of people who have like challenging Lilith placements in their astrology, it's like they need to learn how to be more childlike. They need to learn how to be more playful, how to act as well. And we're not talking about being fake, right? But it's like some people are just too stiff. They just can't shake it out. So I kind of get that energy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you might be trying to become something, which is great, but maybe what you need to add into that is a little bit of hyperbole, a little bit of like razzle dazzle, right? I feel like there's too much serious energy coming off of her, and I've gotten her a couple of times in these readings, and I have not thought about that. Like that hasn't popped into my head for anyone else. You have the Ring as well. This is the Ace of Clubs in the Lenormand. It's actually my favorite card in the Lenormand. It can represent things coming full circle. It can also represent kind of completion energy, wrapping things up. And I definitely feel that for you. Some of you could be completing some, contracts or things like that. It's also a card of marriage. So some of you, if you take the risk, you could be meeting a person that you will marry if you want love. At the end here for the good stuff, you have this Day and Night card. It says there is currently disharmony due to existing differences in some matter. Even though this is the good stuff and it's meant to be positive no matter what, I do feel that some of you have a little bit of disharmony. I kind of feel like you're working through it. It's not like a bad or a good thing. I think maybe you're just kind of like working through some feelings or some things that you've been through. You have the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Wands, and the Four of Swords. To me, 2 nines is always a clue to move in a new direction, literally. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is something new or a new direction. The Nine of Swords is kind of like a never-ending nightmare, but again, it's showing up in the good stuff. So I do feel a lot of you could be ending like a never-ending nightmare or ending something that's been going on and on and on. You have the Nine of Swords here, or Nine of Wands, sorry. The Nine of Wands says don't give up. So I feel like for a lot of you, you're actually not giving up. It's kind of interesting because you have that Hangman. And the Hangman, I think maybe you have felt like you've been on pause for, who the hell knows how long, right? And for a long time for some of you. And it's like you haven't given up though. Like I feel like you've at least done things maybe to improve your situation, like learning or educating yourself or, all of those things. So it's like you've done things to educate yourself. You've done things to try to gain knowledge and wisdom. And I feel like this is starting to pay off. That's what I'm getting on the Nine of Wands. You have the Four of Swords. I feel like you've recovered. I feel like you're in a place where you can be recovered and you can find success, and I love that. Let's see here. With the Nine of Swords, you have the Child. The Child is about something new. Literally, I said 2 nines, like literally newness. The Child can definitely represent a child, but it can also represent just newness, something new that you need to enter into. So, I kind of feel that. It's also hilarious that I said that Lilith energy is about acting, being more playful, but it's not like acting, like I said, as in being fake. It's acting in the sense that, again, sometimes we just need to add a little personality behind some things that we're working on. And you could be working on anything. It's like maybe you're working on your health, but you're bored. It's like maybe there's a more fun way that you could exercise or lose weight or whatever it is you're trying to do. It doesn't matter. I kind of feel that. I feel that energy. Something needs more playfulness. Let's put it that way. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Heart. Could be love coming in for you. Some of you are opening up here, which is nice. I do feel like this could be love coming in for you. I'm telling you right now, I will say, not really a love reading, but if you are attracting love into your life, I feel like it's going to be I'm not trying to be clickbaity here, but I feel like it's going to be way better than you expect, in the sense that, again, maybe you just think, I think you maybe if you have your eye on a person that you have on a pedestal, it's like, I think you think that it would be great, but I think you don't know just how great it is going to be. Very passionate, very good. So again, I'm telling you right now, I would make a move here, flirt, learn how to flirt, as I always say to you, Virgo. Do something. You got to do something, right? So I would shoot your shot, whatever. With the Four of Swords, you have the tree. The tree literally can represent a family tree. So some of you could be meeting a person you have a family with. Really, this is a card of commitment, and you have the ring right next to it. And the ring, represents a commitment or a contract. But the 2 cards together, ring and the tree, they can represent kind of building something with a very solid foundation, creating long-term success. I find that this is a very common energy right now because we have Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus really wants us to, build something long-term, or at least I believe that Uranus and Taurus wants us to build something long-term, something that could last for a very long time. So that makes sense. Let's see. We're going to pull 5 main themes here. And there we go. You have this thought card. Didn't I say a lot? A lot of thinking words came up here. It's funny that you have a lot of cards that would represent Aquarius in the Lenormand and in the tarot. You have the star, obviously. I just think that it could be a time of thought. Nothing wrong with that. Mercury retrograde, take your time to think, plan things out, whatever. You have this messenger card. You have the rider as well. So there definitely could be a person who's coming in delivering a message. I feel like it's good news. So I do feel like some of you could be getting good news this week. Next, you have this. Sorry, I dropped it. And am I going to be able to find it? No, I'm not going to be able to get it. But it was a celebration card, so there could be some sort of celebration. I'll pull an extra card for you. You have the sorrow card. I feel like some of you need to pull yourself out of this right here. So some of you could be, grieving a loss, but there's actually something much better coming in for you. For others, I kind of don't get any of that. I think that some of you, maybe you have something in your life where you've just been thinking and thinking and thinking about it, and you've been building it up in your head, whatever it is. Could be a person, like I said, that you have on a pedestal, a job, a business, whatever. And it's and I think this is saying that it's you maybe are too invested in the story, so you have to find out. I feel like this is saying, get out of your head and put something on paper. Those are the words that I'm getting, but I literally feel it's saying, you have to go experience something instead of just living something in your head right now, whatever it is. You have this falseness card. I don't know, Mercury retrograde. I would be careful of false people. Everybody's had that card, by the way, so far. So there could be a past person, but I would be careful of that. And finally, you have the letter. Yeah, definitely communication coming in if you want love. There could be a person who's communicating with you. But this is a really good reading, Virgo. I like where this is going. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.